Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a topic that many people, quite frankly, are avoiding, or at least not bringing it up, maybe not thinking of. But I do want to bring this to a lot of people's attention as to one reason why I truly believe that sports cards are dipping, and one real threat that can cause sports cards to dip much further than they're already at. Now, before we get into that, I did want to say, you guys know I'm giving away these Darius Garlands pretty much every single week. We started off with 20 of them. We're down to just 3. So in this video, we're going to be giving away one Darius Garland Prism PSA 10 to one lucky person who subscribes, who comments the word done, and who likes this video. So 3 simple steps for a chance at a free around $40 to $50 card. So if you do want a free shot at the card, all you have to do is subscribe, comment the word done, and like this video. But without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So what I'm essentially referring to as to what's causing the real big price of cards really dipping, and what can really hurt it even further, is these auction houses running an insane amount of high-end cards every single month in their auctions, pretty much simultaneously. So a lot of the times we're going to see, for example, PWCC recently had an auction where they just threw up all these high-end cards, millions and millions of dollars worth of cards, all in one auction. I understand they do that most auctions, but this auction a couple weeks back, the essentially premier auction, was essentially pretty much the biggest auction they've ever hosted, and they just clumped together all these record-breaking sales and they put them all together in one auction. And what this caused was the prices of these cards not only really hurt, but it hurt the whole rest of the auction, including cards that were reasonably priced. And that's because all of the buying power got concentrated to the ultra high-end cards. And in fact, some of these ultra high-end cards, such as the Luka Logo Man, ended at very strong prices compared to what many people were expecting. The Luka Logo Man sold for more than $3 million. However, what happened with that was that all of this, for example, the sports card markets, the high-end market at least, is made up of, I won't say a handful of individuals, but not an incredibly big buyer pool, especially at the moment. And what happens when you essentially take the big buying pool and you concentrate them towards the higher end cards, especially the mid to low end cards, really end up suffering. And we saw that with pretty much $1,000 cards all the way up to a couple $100,000 cards, all ending very low, and the ultra high-end cards did pretty well. And so what this causes is a whole new set of, big remarks when, for example, a Tom Brady BGS 8 rookie card goes for $364,000 when it was going for over $1 million last year, or not even last year, earlier this year, just a few months back. So what's really happening is there's just way too much high-end supply that's hitting the market, and not as much demand that's kind of able to meet that at the current moment. And that's what's really causing prices to keep slipping. And so, I know there's still a great amount of big whales in the hobby that are able to kind of eat up some of that and buy quite a lot of these high-end cards hitting the market. But if auction houses continue to really throw up all this heat in one auction rather than spreading it out, for example, some premier auctions are pretty slow. Maybe the most expensive card will be $200,000 or $300,000. But all of a sudden, when you have one auction with several cards that are going to end at $500,000 plus, that's just a lot for the market to kind of handle right now. And I think that's really one of the core reasons why the market continues to slip. Now, I do expect a lot of people to be sending their cards into auctions. Of course, we're going through a recession, and there's a lot of people who do need the money, regardless of your financial position. A lot of people are sending in their cards. But what I would really urge, big auction houses like PWCC to do is spread it out a little bit. Make sure there's not so much into one auction, and rather spread it a little bit. Now, I know PWCC also has weekly auctions, which they are bringing a little bit more higher end cards into the weekly auctions, and Golden's of course running like they usually do. But I do believe that, if we can kind of slow down that a little bit, in terms of the sheer amount, dollar amount of high-end cards hitting the market every single month. I do think that the market will be able to absorb, the price corrections a little bit better, and that these bigger investors are going to be able to handle what's thrown at them. But I think right now we're in a little bit of a tough spot where there's a handful of individuals buying a lot of these high-end cards, and they simply can't buy every single high-end card that hits the auctions, and so that causes quite a few of them to end extremely low. We have seen a dip of close to 60% in the last 3 months on certain high-end cards, which is, quite scary for the high-end market, just, in the short term. I do believe in the long term, right now, the great news is, honestly, about this, is that as these high-end cards continue to get traded to new individuals, they reach new individuals that are more prepared to hold it for the long term. For example, the person who just bought the Luka Locoman for $3.1 million is likely to hold it longer than the person who had bought it previously. So I believe that people currently buying in and taking these positions are going to have a more long-term approach with their cards, as what usually happens when stuff continues to get traded around in a down market, and that's what causes the floors to kind of set in and then prices to start to rebound. So I do think it's going to take a couple more months for the supply to dry up for these high-end cards. And when the high-end cards perform well, I truly believe that the middle-end cards and the lower-end cards, start to follow suit. I think it's a lot of these big cards, for example, LeBron Topps Chrome Refractor, a Michael Jordan Fleer, these big cards that really drive the hobby, and kind of, I would say, make the market sentiment. So the market kind of feels a certain way depending on how these great cards kind of, perform. And so if a LeBron refractor is going up, people are going to feel really confident in the market, and they're going to be willing to spend more money on lower end, higher end, and middle end cards. Now, if a LeBron Topps Chrome Refractor is tanking as being one of the core cards in the market, that's going to cause a lot of people to feel a little bit scared, and may not invest as much into lower end or higher or middle end cards. So I believe it's all connected in a way. And I do think that when the market does eventually when the market supply does dry up a little bit, I think we're going to start to see prices bottom out. I don't know when that's going to be. As of now, it doesn't look like it's going to happen in the next coming month or two. I think it's going to take a little bit more time. People are still ready to unload a lot of stuff. But I do believe if you're holding through these times, especially given Christmas is around the corner, a lot of people are just trying to free up a lot of cash, and not as many buyers right now. So it's just a storm of bad events. But I do think there's going to come a time where stuff starts to settle down, and people feel more comfortable buying in at the prices that they're starting to see. So I think it's a great buying opportunity overall. It's impossible to really time the bottom of the market. That's something that nobody's ever tackled, right? Nobody can ever time the bottom of the market. But I do think if you do give it a little bit of time, we're going to start to see prices. I know right now they're just slipping and slipping, but I do think we're going to start to see a time where they level out in the coming months. And I think when they do start to level out, you could start to see stuff come back slowly but surely. That's kind of my take on the market right now, but I do know that auction houses running a lot of these higher end cards at once is not helping the market at all. And it's probably going to start to, slip these higher end cards even further. So yeah, hope this video brought you guys some value. If you guys have alternative kind of viewpoints, of course, this is not something that's, one size see all. So if you have alternative viewpoints, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Happy to read through your guys's just thoughts on the market. But yeah, once again, if you would like to enter into the Darius Garland giveaway, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and comment below the word done. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. And other than that, I'm out. Peace.